Welcome, welcome, welcome to the groundbreaking for ACT's new Strand Theater. I've been dreaming about this for 20 years, and it's so incredibly thrilling that it's finally happening. We're standing here on Central Market, the vortex of the world. We got government on two sides, tech on one side, an incredibly rich neighborhood on the other side, filled with diverse ideas, cultural propositions, and we hope to help to be part of the amazing dialogue that is happening right now in San Francisco. We're right next door to our costume shop. I hope you all know about that. And in a way, the costume shop was the incubator of this idea, because when our remarkable Ellen Richard, our executive director, everybody know Ellen, right? When Ellen arrived in San Francisco, she looked at where we were building our costumes and said, look at that great space in front. Why don't we make it a performance space? And with the help, thank you, of Carrie Schulman, I don't know if Carrie's here, in the city of San Francisco, the Rainin Foundation, we turned this into a community-based art space. We produce our own work there. We've welcomed dozens of groups into the community to share that space with us, to teach us what's here, to start to create a larger dialogue. We've had our teacher training here. We've had educational programs here. And what we realized is Market Street is happening. And it's really important that arts groups, as we always do in this country, take the lead in creating civic discourse and dialogue in our culture. So the Strand programming is going to build on that incubated idea of the costume shop in this space, which is going to still be fronted by, what do we call it, International Orange, the color of the Golden Gate Bridge, will be a new 300-seat theater. In front of it, it's going to be a beautiful new 125-seat black box theater and event space looking directly out over City Hall, and a double-story lobby here that will be open day and night. Great coffee, we promise, to really welcome the neighborhood and to light up this block. Part of what gives me joy about this project is that it really expands the reach of the story of ACT. When I got to ACT, our other theater lay in ruins. I seem to have a knack for archaeology. This city helped us, so many of you standing here, donors, trustees, people that work at ACT, and people in the community helped rebuild the Geary. And at that time, we knew ACT was a bigger story. So we're a producing organization. We're a big educational initiative. A lot of our amazing artists in training are here with us today. Raise your hands. ACT MFA students. Future of the American Theater, standing here. We have remarkable educational programs led by our wonderful Elizabeth Broderson. We're very deeply involved with this neighborhood, with children in this neighborhood. And we also incubate a lot of new work. And sometimes it's hard to see that when you walk in the Geary, because it's such a beautiful gilded cathedral of a space. So this will be another face of ACT and another way for us to partner with the community. In this space, we hope to produce new work, to engage new artists, young artists, local artists. We hope to bring international work here. We hope to share this space with a lot of community partners, many of whom surround us here. This is a neighborhood filled with arts. Alonzo King right on the corner, Cutting Ball, Exit, Luggage Store. We're so privileged to be part of this whole community. We look across the street to the Asian Art Museum. Jay Chu, thank you for being here today. We know that we're in a city that we've got government support for the arts. I want to give a shout out to Scott Wiener, who's a big arts lover here. And also thank you, Scott. It's been an amazing journey. And in this space, I think we'll begin to see a really rich array of, Sydney's here too. We're going to put City Arts and Lectures in here when it's smaller than what you need, right, Sydney? So the hope is it'll be a hub for community dialogue and a way for ACT to really deepen and expand its own programming, and to acknowledge that education and training is an enormous part not only of our mission, but what we believe is going to be transformative for the city. So I want to just quickly acknowledge a lot of community-based arts organizations who are here, who've helped us in this journey. I want to acknowledge Building Director John Rahm, I don't know where he is, who's helped us spearhead this project. I want to acknowledge our amazing architects, SOM, and Plant Construction, and all the consultants, Shalik, who've helped us realize this project. It's a very complicated one. And the nearest and dearest to us are ACT trustees, Kirk and Nancy Hassan, Nancy Livingston, Fred Levin, Rusty Roof and Patty, Abby and Jean Schneer, who brought us to SOM, and last but certainly not least, the amazing Jeff and Lori Ubben. Jeff is on our board, was a believer in this project years ago when nobody really thought this was going to happen. And today we're standing here in this beautiful day across from a really revitalized UN Plaza with hopes in our hearts for being a city that really leads change through culture and dialogue. And Jeff was one of the first people to start that out, and we thank him from the bottom of our hearts.
It's my worst nightmare. I'm following Carrie Perloff. To marry two interests and know that they are naturally symbiotic is exciting for any donor. That is how I felt about being part of bringing ACT's second stage to Market Street. To advance ACT programming with a space that will allow for risk-taking, new works, and collaboration and artists fits perfectly with the exciting possibilities of the Central Market Corridor. We have seen it time and time again. The arts transforms neighborhoods, especially here at night. The hustle and bustle of performers, and in the case of ACT, the students of the Young Conservatory and of our master students bring tremendous energy through these doors, and the audience will follow. In this case, hopefully, some of the younger professionals now in this neighborhood. ACT is effectively taking the lead, and right behind us is the possibility of 950 Market Street being developed with a focus on smaller, innovative arts organizations. Mayor Lee, your support and enthusiasm is sincere, and it makes you a natural leader of this awesome city. Having been on the ACT board for now 10 years, I can speak with authority about Carrie Perloff and her artistic talents. And this space has her fast mind racing even faster. Our executive director, Ellen Richards, is a steady hand and has brought along this project flawlessly. I'm honored now in my capacity as chair of the Strand Capital Campaign to announce some fun stuff. The goal for the campaign is $32.5 million, in addition to receiving over $9 million in historic and new market tax credits. We have also raised nearly $10 million in private contributions to date from our generous board, emeritus board, and a few other good friends of ACT. Today, I'm pleased to announce two additional gifts to the Strand campaign. The first gift is a $5 million gift from an anonymous donor, and we have also received a hugely generous contribution from Tony Remby and Arthur Rock. With these gifts, our campaign is now at $26.5 million. So we're getting close, but we still need help. Carrie and Ellen told me to say that. So as we turn to the building, it is as Picasso said, every act of creation is first an act of destruction. So bring the hammer down. And now it's my honor and duty to announce next up my good friend and an awesome mayor, Mayor Ed Lee.
Thank you. Well, Jeff and Carrie, congratulations. I've just been allowed a tour with SOM and with Plant Organization to go in there and take a look at this theater. And let me tell you, it is transformative for this whole corridor. And I know how hard Supervisor Wiener and Supervisor Kim and Mark Leno, when he was supervisor, when we all have been thinking about how to reinvest in this whole life corridor of Market Street, that we are waiting for moments, I think you'd agree with me, waiting for moments like this to truly signal a big transformative change along Market Street. And ACT Strand is a great transformation, let me tell you. You walk into that theater and you'll see the 300 seats deeply set in, you're going to wonder, why did we do this a long time ago? And it has been happening. I've often said Market Street was a big priority, but I also have to tell you the truth. It wasn't Twitter that revitalized Market Street. It began with arts organizations, grassroots art organizations taking the risk. Whether it was Gray Arts Foundation, the costume shop, luggage store, and others joined Supervisor Kim and I to say, can you take the risk first? Can you go in there and kind of drum up life? Can you attract some of the small businesses? And they went about it such that when Twitter and Zendesk and Zeusk and all the other wonderful companies that have located here now were then beginning to see the complement of what was going on. And I will tell you this. We talk a lot about technology in the city. Technology cannot live without the arts and vice versa. And our kids are beginning to learn that. That's why we teach STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. This is the new wave of educating enlightened societies. And I just came back from New York, and they're jealous. I have to say, they're jealous. Because they see and they hear and they feel the vibrancy in our city. And when we host the U.S. Conference of Mayors in June of 2015, I would like them to come down here and see not only this theater, feel its vibrancy. It's going to add so much to it. I think you've got a gem. I believe that every company that exists in the city of San Francisco would love to have their name associated with this theater, because this will be the kind of theater that you'll want to have. It's in the middle of the life corridor of our city. It is where things are happening. And by the way, it's not just going to happen in the daytime. And I know Randy Shaw and others, and we're all working to change life and do a lot of things with our community organizations around here, and you see it all happening. But we're bringing vibrant nightlife back to San Francisco, and it's going to be led by companies like ACT Strand and 950 Market and many of the other things, and with all of the complement of our technology companies that are locating all along Market Street as well. This is incredibly exciting for me because I can showcase something that's going to be so, I think, well received by everybody. Theater has been part of my life a long time, and I know for Senator Leno and Jane Kim and Supervisor Wiener, perhaps we can do something called political theater here one of these days. But you'll have to ask everybody, what was their little enlightened theater thing? And of course, for me, I have to admit, in college, I did drama, and I did a little play. That's why I was a bureaucrat for 21 years. But look it up. Butterflies are free. That's what I did. Okay, I have to admit that. That's what I was thinking about when Carrie brought me out on the stage. But I would be proud, as I believe any mayor and any leader of any great city like San Francisco, to display this, to talk about why we were able to get this together, to talk about the history of effort that's gone on in this street. 30 years of disinvestment on Market Street, and now we're at a time where people want to reinvest in urban settings, invest in the cultural life of the city. And what I said earlier, I really mean it. Without that culture of San Francisco and the arts, I don't think the technology workers would actually want to be here, because they're attracted, and the talent is attracted to a city like this because of the arts and because of the investments that we made in education, all the other things that we're doing. So besides our quirkiness, besides our progressive politics and taking care of people and the sharing economy, we have a rich arts. This will be a wonderful display. So again, Jeff and Carrie and Nancy and Ellen and all of the Board of Trustees, the Emeritus Board, as Jeff referred to, congratulations. I'll be there with you on opening night day, and I'll be hosting probably quite a few meetings down here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, bless your heart. And butterflies are free. I'm considering it for our opening. If you'll start it, it's a great idea. And now I'm thrilled to welcome Senator Mark Leno, who's not only been a great advocate of all of us in San Francisco up there in Sacramento, but has an honorary MFA in acting from the American Conservatory Theater. Senator Mark Leno.
I still have no clue as to why I was given that honorary degree, but it has a prominent spot on my wall in my office. I think it's pretty clear at this point that the only thing that matches Mayor Lee's determination to revitalize Mid-Market Street is the joy, enthusiasm, and inspiration that Carrie brings to this project. You know, we hear a lot about innovators and disruptors these days here in San Francisco, but that's really what this is all about, blowing up an old box and rebuilding it in a brand new way. The very foundation of which this project is built is really the core philosophy, the core mission of ACT, which is to expand the opportunities to experience the transformative potential of dramatic storytelling. And as we break ground today, that is dramatic storytelling in real time. And it's all about tomorrow. And tomorrow, our kids and our students, because this is going to be an educational institution. It's not just about performance art. This is going to bring opportunity for kids who otherwise wouldn't have it. You know, every study, every report that we have clearly recognizes that students who study art and music, dramatic arts, dancing, they test higher in math, in reading, and in science. They have higher levels of self-esteem and lower rates of dropping out of school. And a child who quits school before getting a high school diploma has a 7 times greater likelihood of finding his or her way into our criminal justice system. So Carrie, what you're doing here today with your board of directors, and Jeff, thank you for being such a partner in this, because of course it's going to take some real money to get this done, but it will happen. And it will be that transformative potential of dramatic storytelling. So Carrie, congratulations. Thank you for including me in the ACT family, as you have so heartfully done. And if it hardly compares, but I would like to present you with a proclamation from the California State Senate, thanking you and congratulating you and wishing you great success on this project.
The eloquence. How fabulous. Thank you. Amazing. And our other incredible collaborator in this project, Supervisor Jane Kim, this is her district, District 6. She and her office, Sunny in particular, have been wonderful partners with us in really exploring all of the ways in which we can partner with the work that she and her team have already initiated in making District 6 a great place to live. Supervisor Jane.
Thank you, Carrie. As long as we're sharing, actually, my musical debut was down the street at Bindlestiff Studios. My band played at Pinoy's Pop many years ago. But, you know, that just goes to show the history of the arts in this neighborhood. When I first graduated from college, many of my friends were writers and actors, screenplay writers in theater. And so I used to be very active. Actually, just along this corridor, I used to volunteer regularly at Bindlestiff Studio, repainting the black box theater when it needed to be repainted, going to improv shows, going to Exit Theater for sketch comedy, and going to shows, Campo Santos Theater, an intersection for the arts that has now moved to the south of Market. This was really the groundbreaking I was looking forward to for some time. Our office has been working alongside ACT, the planning department, equity community builders, to fully realize this important project. And our office is really proud to have played a small role in being able to realize this vision. As the mayor had already mentioned, theaters have always been an integral part of the city, but of course has an important history in Mid-Market. And Carrie had said it, even 2 years ago, this project seemed kind of out of the world, right? Even 2 years ago. Now it seems obvious. As our ACT board president said, But when the mayor came in and I was first elected to office, in our first week, we talked about what it would mean to revitalize Mid-Market Street. But as a policymaker, I realized that policies are a leap of faith. You can draft the best policy you can, you put it out there, you pass it, you sign it, but you still need private actors to come and participate in that vision and process. And we are so lucky that so many folks followed in and said, we want to be a part of that vision of making Mid-Market live up to its full potential. And ACT was one of the first, and I just want to congratulate you again for being a part of that. I think they deserve a round of applause. Truly for believing in this very, very early on. The Strand in particular has been a colorful centerpiece of Mid-Market, though forgotten. In fact, it's surprising the number of people that walk down this block and never notice this building behind that, but no more. Folks will realize the jewel that we've always had here. And thanks to the artist, to Carrie Perloff, who's taken on this project to preserve the soul of building this community, we will be able to bring this building back. And we also want to recognize that they will be joining a number of other arts organizations, as I mentioned, Intersection for the Arts, Luggage Store Gallery, and the Future Piano Fight at 970, 950 Market. And I know Will Thatcher and I believe Joy Hour here, who are helping to also partner with ACT 2 blocks down the street to bring another arts center here to Mid-Market. I also want to recognize Ellen Richards, the executive director. Again, Carrie Perloff, the board of directors who signed off on this $30 million capital campaign that they've already come close to the finish line of. Again, Equity Community Builders and local artist Paz de Calzada, whose beautiful mural activated the site for almost a year. Also want to recognize local filmmaker Christian Bruno, who we were able to connect with ACT to work on the film Strand, A Natural History of Cinema, which captures the vital role that this theater and the Strand have played to the day-to-day lives of San Franciscans. But again, congratulations. Jay Shu, thank you for being here from Asian Art Museum. Captain Mike Redmond, our most amazing Southern Station captain. Thank you for being here, for making this neighborhood a safer place to live, but also believing in community building relationships. And Supervisor Scott Wiener, my supervisor to the west of us on Market Street. Thank you for being here as well.
Thank you so much, Jane. And now, finally, a quick sneak peek from our extraordinary architect, Michael Duncan, whom I think is the most patient architect on the planet, because he's been working with artists and we change our mind a lot. But the core value has been there all along. He's going to give you a little glimpse of what it's going to be, and then we're going to open the curtains. Michael Duncan.
Right. Thanks, Gary. The renovation of the Strand Theater resurrects this derelict 100-year-old movie theater to provide a highly visible alternative performance space for the city's preeminent theater company, ACT. The new theater will be inserted into the shell of this former cinema, overlaying the essential theater elements into the raw backdrop of the original building. This transformation will create spaces for invention and will serve to inspire a wide range of artistic visions. The main performance space is a 300-seat theater that can be quickly transformed from a small, intimate, formal theater into an informal cabaret with tables and chairs. A smaller, flexible black box theater, right in the space up by these small windows at the top, can be configured in a number of different ways and also can be used for rehearsals, as a classroom, or even as an event space.
It's an urban environment.
A two-story lobby will contain the box office and a small cafe, a large open area for students to meet during the daytime and for audience members to gather at night. The space has been conceived as a dynamic stage set where the students and audience members are the performers, and the stairs, balconies, and a large projection scrim are the scenic backdrop. The scrim, which spans the full height of the space, can project images and is a reminder of the Strand's old movie screen. It also serves as a marquee, providing super graphic information for upcoming shows and events. When the theater is closed, the imagery on the screen will dramatically transform the character of the building, projecting the energy of this theater through these large double-height windows out into the street and neighborhood beyond. The restored Strand Theater represents a key component of this renewal of this once vital part of the city and the renaissance of one of San Francisco's great cultural neighborhoods. It's an honor and a real pleasure to work with the creative and inspiring people at ACT, as well as our own talented team of designers, engineers, consultants, construction managers, builders, almost all of whom have donated their time or reduced their fees to make this project happen. I'd also like to recognize the public agencies and neighborhood groups that have come through together to support something so terrific for our city. We look forward to seeing all of you back here for the Strand Theater's opening in the spring of 2015. Thanks.
Okay, now you get the photo op moment of inaugurating the Strand Theater.
All right. Who do you want in this, Carrie? Me? Okay.
Is that right? Are we right, sir? And are we ready? You ready to...
Countdown.
Let's do a countdown, ACTMFA! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, Nan. You need to get the...